You haven't heard it? You mean to tell me that you haven't heard it?
No, I haven't heard it. Here, play it. It's really terrific, Susie. Wait till you hear it.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's YoAnty. Welcome to the YoAnty podcast, episode number 2. I'm going to try it without the microphone this time just because it kept hitting my beard and it was making an annoying noise. So I'm just going to try to use the camera mic that's built in here. I might invest in a better microphone. However, I did have one and then I felt like it wasn't picking up the audio as good as I thought it was, so I got rid of it. So I'll do a little research and invest in another microphone. But other than that, we're officially on iTunes, so I'm going to put a link in the description. Subscribe on iTunes if you only want the audio version. It's on there. It's great if you're like driving, just want to listen in your car, or if you're at the gym and you just want to listen. Subscribe on iTunes. I'm still working out the kinks. It's not easy. Like right now, I uploaded, and if anyone can troubleshoot, please let me know. I uploaded a 16-minute episode, the first episode, and everything was fine. Then all of a sudden, like when you click on it and play it, it says it's 2 hours and 22 minutes, but it's just 16 minutes. And then the rest is and then it just crashes after the 16 minutes. So there's probably an issue with the original file. So I have to play with that. There's going to be a lot of stuff I want to work out, between this, but I'm sticking to the video version here on YouTube and then the audio version on iTunes. I'm going to shoot for every Tuesday now. I said Monday, now I'm going to try Tuesday. So bear with me while I work out the schedule. So like I said, essentially, I want to talk about just everyday things that are going on in my brain and my life. Maybe a sports topic, an entertainment topic, and then a Twitter Q&A. I already tweeted out from the YoAnty podcast, asked me some questions, so I'll be doing that in the last portion. First, I want to talk about my new goal in life. I've had many goals in life. My goal to touch a penguin's head will always be number one. I still have yet to do that. I had someone, a buddy of mine, or not a buddy of mine, a viewer, I guess you could call it a buddy of mine. You guys are all buddies of mine. He reached out. He works at an aquarium, I think, in Connecticut, and he invited me to touch a penguin's head. I've just been really busy. This is like a year ago now, but I got to reconnect with him to acquire that goal. But my new goal, and something that I think I could be really good at in life, is crashing a wedding. I want to start crashing weddings. I think I'd be really good at it. And this all came about, my buddy's getting married in December, and he told me where he's getting married, and I happened to be real close. I was like 5 minutes away from the venue. I was like, oh, I've never heard of that. I'm going to swing by and just check it out. I want to see what it's like. So I pull up into the venue, and I walked down, and there was a wedding that was going to be happening later that night, and there was some groomsmen getting dressed and stuff, and I just went in, I poked my head in, just checking out the venue, what it looked like, and it dawned on me like, oh, whoa, this is kind of like how people scout out when or where there's going to be weddings, entrances, back entrances, stuff like this, and it all clicked to me. I was like I drove away thinking, I might go to that wedding tonight. And here's the thing too. Like if you crash a wedding, like I know if someone crashed my wedding, I'd be like, if it all depends on the person. I think I would be capable of crashing a wedding because I feel like people would I feel like I'd be good at it. I feel like I'd be good at fitting in, and people wouldn't even question it. You know what I mean? They just see me. My beard's kind of like, well, who is this guy? But at the same time, if I'm having a good time, knowing how to fit in is key. And I've yet to do it, but I really, really need to try it. Because it could be a borderline scumbag move, like showing up at someone else's wedding. Like it's basically trespassing. And like I said, if someone did it to me, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, you're out. But you have to know whose wedding you can and can't crash. But like, what's the worst that can happen? You got thrown out? Big deal. You probably got a couple free drinks out of it, get a little dance in, had a good time. So it's going to be my new goal in life. I've got to figure out, I'm going to try to start, maybe reading the newspaper, checking Facebook to see who has weddings and things like that, and find a good one to crash. And the key is being good at crashing it, not getting ejected. So it almost making friends, like even dating back to the Wedding Crashers movie, like they thought they were part of the family. So they never questioned. They accepted them. They invited them to that cool lake house. Like, I need to go to like I want to find like a nice, rich, expensive wedding and get all dressed up. And and I'm not even going for the free drinks. I'm going for the love of the game. Like this is a game that I think I'd be good at, just like anyone. Like, why does Steph Curry play basketball? Because he's really good at it. And why did he ever get started? Because he was into it. This is my new thing that I'm into, is thinking that I might be good at crashing weddings. I just think I'm a good like maneuverer. Like, I can like finagle my way in places. Like, even like it's like sneaking into like a baseball game, or like sitting in like seats that aren't yours at a game. Like and this is a quick, me and my dad were talking. My dad, when we were kids, any game we went to, Celtics, Bruins, Pats, Red Sox, we always had like shitty seats, but he'd be like, hey, yeah, no, fuck those. We're not sitting in those. Let's just go down in the front row and sit in the best possible seats. So we'd sit in there for 2 innings, and the people would come like, hey, you guys are out. I'm like, okay, cool. And we would just do it. Like, one time we sat behind home plate, right behind home plate, Ortiz walk-off game. The 2 people never came. We sat there the whole time. And that was always, maybe I picked that up from my dad. Like, that's something I've always been like, snaking my way through. So, that's what's been going on in my life right now, is just figuring out, my first, and the first one's a big one. There's probably websites and there's probably groups, just like I'm in like, sneakerhead groups or sports groups or whatever. There's probably wedding crashing sites. There's probably a community. So I'm going to reach out and see what's going on. So segueing into my next topic, I want to talk just sports. NBA playoffs is officially kicked off. Last time I talked to you guys, we hadn't had Kobe's last game yet. Kobe dropped 60, which I was like, I did not think he'd have 60. Like, it's the way the game started. He looked just horrible, jacking up shots. But essentially, what they did is they, the players were just like, Kobe, here, shoot. He's like, fine, I'll shoot whatever. The Jazz had like 8 different guys cover Kobe, just because so those guys could be like, yeah, I covered Kobe in his last game. It became kind of like a spectacle. And here's the thing though, I'm not, so people are like, oh, it's on 50 shots. I saw Kobe like 2 weeks ago play 9 minutes, and he almost died. Like, he was in full bandages, like, oh, fuck. Like, he had nothing left in the tank. It could have been like a high school team out there, and it would have been a struggle. So that's the thing. Kobe being on your last leg, like, he is like the dog who's just lying on the floor and can't get up anymore. It's like, honey, we have to take this dog to be put down right now because he is dead. It'd be like if that dog was like, I know I'm dead, but like throw me a bone one more time, and I'll just go out and I'll run out and grab it. That's what Kobe did. He was the dead dog who went and fetched a biscuit one last time. So congrats to Kobe. My buddy Rick was out there. He Snapchatted me and stuff like that. He told me all about the game. I saw Jack, Kanye, Jay-Z, all, the whole thing sounded nuts. So good times. And then Golden State, they obviously broke the record, best record of all time. Incredible. But now it's playoff time. Regular season's over. It's playoff time. And we have Steph is out tonight, so that game's about to start. That's the worst, though, like the worst possible thing could happen. I'm pretty sure it's, minor. He's probably going to be fine. But, like, you get to game 2 and Steph's out, like, Like, you don't want that to be a nagging or lingering injury. I think they'll be fine. They'll beat Houston. Steph could not even play the rest of this. Houston sucks. They'll beat Houston. Houston's fine. They could not play Steph, and they'll still win. But you need him at full health if you're going to play, Spurs, OKC, or any other team. Getting into just like the NBA playoffs, I'm going to the Celtics Friday night, so I'm pumped about that. The Atlanta series makes me a little nervous. I'll give you my picks real quick. I did actually an 18 parlay of who I thought was going to win. I think I went with all the favorites except the Celtics. So I took Heat, Raptors, Cavs, and Celtics. So them 4, then Clippers, OKC, Spurs, Golden State. So the tough series are going to be Miami beating Charlotte, Celtics, Hawks. So I actually think I actually think Atlanta will beat us. Avery Bradley's out, but I picked with my heart on that one. I'll check in each week as the playoffs progress. But it was hard not to take Cleveland and Golden State. I think Golden State. I think the Spurs. I've said this all along. The Spurs are capable of beating them in 7 games, absolutely. But I've got to go with Golden State. And if any team in the East, I don't know. Like the way Detroit played. Detroit's a tough. They're a gritty team, especially for like an 8 seed. But the way they played the Cavs, like the Cavs are. LeBron's due not to go to a final. This would be his 6th straight finals. Like he's due for an upset. I would not be shocked if Toronto made it to the NBA Finals. So if I had to say anything, the safe pick, I'm going Golden State and Cleveland. The wacky pick, or not wacky, but something that won't be shocked by is Spurs, Toronto. But yeah, other than that, that's what's going on. Baseball, it's tough to really talk baseball right now. It's so early in the season. As far as the Red Sox go, their pitching is not good. I'm not actually expecting a lot from the Sox. Hockey, Bruins didn't even make the playoffs. The NFL schedule was released, and I was excited, but at the same time, like I said to myself, I'm like I just don't have the energy right now to I looked at the schedule, but Pat's playing Christmas Eve, checking out all the games, the Monday night games, playing the Ravens, and I was just like mentally, I'm like I can't dive into this yet. I'm too kind of focused on NBA playoffs, gambling on the NBA playoffs, gambling on base. I'm just focused on what's going on right now. Once we get a little closer, I'll get into football way more. But it's just I don't have the mental energy to dive into the Pats schedule yet. Like I said, I looked at it, took it in, but once I really dive in, that's when it's like, all right, like it's go time. So yeah, that kind of wraps up sports section for now. Getting into entertainment. Other than, I'm trying to think just random. I watched The Big Short last night, which was good movie. I don't know anyone had seen it. The Big Short. It was one of those movies too, though, where I'm like it was. I wouldn't say that it's hard to follow, but it's like if you're not in the if you're not into stock market and knowing some of the terms and stuff, there are times I'm like, I kind of want to pause this and Google a little more information about this. Like it's one of those movies where it actually made me feel unintelligent. I was like, goes to show how little I know about any of this shit. But at the same time, I find it fascinating. So acting was really good. The editing, the way it was cut and shot was awesome. So Big Short, check that out. I just finished up The People vs. OJ, which I thought was that show was awesome in so many ways because it had. Oh, hold on, we got OKC down 1. Boom! They just wanted the buzzer. OKC just wanted the buzzer. Wow, tipping. All right, so you got my live reaction. I think that was good. They're gonna double check it. People vs. OJ was fantastic because it had a good combination of good story, right? Good story, horrible acting. Should I not drink on camera and during a podcast? Do you drink fluid during a podcast? I'm not sure. I think you don't, but in parts it's a lot of talking. People vs. OJ. Like David Schwimmer was it's probably the best comedy I've seen in a while, just with Cuba Gooding Jr. just like the most atrocious portrayal of OJ ever, just horrible acting. But that's what makes it good. Like I live for bad acting. But on the flip side, I actually thought the other side, in Dallas won. They tipping was no good. Wow. And Raymond Felton is crying for some reason. So I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Should I not watch a game during a live podcast? Probably not. The Marsha Cross. Shit, now I forget her name. Marsha Darden. No, Christopher Darden and Marsha Clark. I thought they did a good job of acting. Their acting was good. They did a better job, and they kept me more into the actual story. But the whole thing it's fascinating to just relook at some of the stuff that went on in that case. And ESPN is actually going to do a 5-part or 6-part 30 for 30 documentary, which people are saying it's the best OJ coverage / documentary / piece put together. So I'm excited to see that one as well. But there are just little details that I'm 31, so obviously what was I? I was probably about 10 or 11 when when this is all going on. So I knew about it, but I didn't pay the closest attention to some of the details. And even later in life, I'd still research the case and just look it up because it's the most fascinating case in the history of the world, pretty much. And something I was actually I was most surprised about was when Johnny Cochran, or no, it was Travolta, which I'm fucking Travolta with his Hawaiian shirt. Travolta, what was his name in that? Everyone was named Bob Shapiro. So Bob Shapiro walks up during they have a little break, little recess, and he goes up and he tries the gloves, tries OJ's bloody gloves on, and he goes up and he puts them on his hand and realizes that the gloves are really small. And he's like, wait a minute, if they don't fit my hand, they're not going to fit OJ's hand. OJ has bigger hands than me. And then he goes over to OJ, put your hand up, and OJ's like, my hands are bigger than you. If you try to put those on my hands, they're not going to fit. So I didn't, and I was like, that couldn't have been true. And I looked it up because they had a fact versus fiction for each episode, so you could figure out what was real, what was not. And it turns out that he actually did that. And I was like, that was a little detail I was kind of found fascinating. It was that was a borderline turning point of the case of, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. And I don't know, the whole thing is fascinating. It's bizarre the way it's almost pointless to talk about. There's not much. I don't know what else you could say about that case. Just it's fascinating to see the way everything played out, and they really went heavy on. I didn't realize this as much either. How much they spun the case. They just took the case and they made sure to focus on the racial part of it rather than the facts. It was almost felt like Marsha Clark was just like, I have hard evidence. I have factual evidence proving that it was him. What else do you need? You feel bad because she does. But at the same time, the OJ's lawyers did an incredible job of, playing to the jury of that there's more to it than just the facts. So, if you watched it, you'll understand, and I think it's a must watch once again because you're watching something serious. And then you're also watching some great comedy of David Schwimmer crying and throwing up in a bathroom. And David Schwimmer is playing Ross Geller. His acting is just it's hilariously bad. All right, let's get to some Twitter Q&A. Someone told me that if my podcast is under a half hour, it's not an actual podcast. So we're gonna do 30-minute podcasts. How's that sound? And maybe when I have guests on, I still want to have some guests, but I just got to figure it out. I'm gonna get the flow of me doing podcasts down first before I dive into getting some guests. But let's see. Do you think Kobe's glory can withstand? This is Dylan Darter. Do you think Kobe's glory can withstand the test of time like Jordan's has? Shoes, branding, etc. I mean, I don't. it will be fine. Like people will still talk. This generation will talk about Kobe, but nothing can compare it to Jordan's legacy. Nothing. So it will withstand the test of time, yes, but it's not gonna compare to Jordan's. Let's see, Orion DeWitt. If you could change one thing about your favorite shoe, what would it be? I wouldn't change it. I don't know. I wouldn't change anything about my favorite shoe. Like a Jordan 4, I love it for what it is. Yeah, no, like Jordan 3s, Jordan 1s. Like I think what their creation is, the shoes themselves are borderline masterpieces. So there's nothing I'd really want to tweak about my favorite shoe. It's my favorite because it is the way it is. We got, let's see, Ronnie Watts. If you could only buy one Jordan retro for the rest of your life, 1 through 14, which would it be? That's tough. 1s, 3s, and 4s are my favorite. 3s, 1s. That's so hard. Because I like to wear. I think 3s and 4s. 3s are maybe a little bit more comfortable than 4s. I like 1s because they're just so classic, but they're not always the most comfortable. They're a little high, the high top. I'll go with the Jordan 3. Go with Jordan 3. Frank Gingersnap, what a name. Will you ever make an updated MLB fitted collection again? I will do that. A lot of people have requested that because I'm a big fitted guy. I broke out the Rockies fitted today. Shout out to Trevor Story, who helped me get my first week fantasy win. What do you have? 6 home runs? It's unbelievable. So yeah, I'll do an updated fitted video eventually. How's that sound? Eventually. Let's see. You think New Balance? This is Jonathan Junsa. You think New Balance should come up with a commemorative shoe for David Ortiz's final year the way Jordan did for Jeter? I do. I bet they definitely will. I just wonder if they'll do like they'll do a commemorative cleat. I wonder if, you know what I mean? They'll definitely do a New Balance commemorative cleat and he'll wear them on his last day or mid-season, wherever. I just wonder if they'll do something like, are they going to bring it to like a 997 or something? If they did, I think that'd be amazing. I'll be surprised if they do. I think they're going to keep it to on-field, stuff. So this is all the questions from because I only tweeted out from the YoAnty podcast. I'm going to try to keep it like, that's the thing too, because I created my YoAnty podcast Twitter, because I want to keep it more refined, not as much riffraff, so that way you actually have a chance of getting your question. Because if I tweet this out on my main account, I'll get like 1 million questions from people who probably won't even watch the podcast. So I want this to have, like I said, a more personal feel, more casual feel, and I still have to friggin' work out the kinks. Jesus, I'm playing with the camera now. I still have to work out the kinks as far as just what of figuring out the podcast. It wasn't easy to get it like on iTunes. It was actually like a pain. I had to go through because you need like a server to host and hold all the shows and things like that. So trying to figure that out was tough. But what I'll do, next episode, make sure you follow the YoAnty podcast if you want to ask some questions. I'll probably get to all of them because there wasn't that many. So follow YoAnty podcast. Link will be in the description. Other than that, I think that's it. So I didn't get to 30 minutes. Sorry. I guess it's not an official podcast yet. But like I said, I'm going to keep working on it. And I'll try to be in one of my other things I kind of battled with was I wanted to – I want to do one once a week because I don't want to overflood people with too many podcasts or anything like that. Like I want to keep it, more refined. So I think the only thing is I feel like I'll be late on topics. For instance, like talking about Kobe's last game. That happened like a week ago. So that happened like a week ago, and it's like, oh, I talk about it now. So I don't really have like a good platform. I can tweet about stuff, but I guess on the podcast, it's, know that I'll still talk about older issues that are from a week ago. So if something happened, whatever happens after this, I'll follow up with it in a week. Does that make sense? This is unbelievable. I feel like I ramble a lot. Like right now, I'm just saying gibberish, and I wouldn't understand why anyone would still be watching this. So all right, I'm gonna go catch at least the first half of this Houston Golden State game. Curry's out. I took Houston in the first quarter plus 3.5, and I also took the under of 55. No, I'm sorry. Houston in the first quarter plus 3.5, and the under, which was 55. So it's 7-6 Golden State right now with 7:55 left. Klay Thompson driving in for a rebound, missed it. All right, I shouldn't be I'm now broadcasting the game via my podcast. This is horrible. All right, that is it. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, follow YoAnty Podcast, follow all my social media accounts. Definitely follow my Snapchat. I'm going to try to start being more active on there. And other than that, I think that's it. And I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Peace.
It's impossible